here to celebrate a great primary victory for Andy Beshear. How about you? You know, tonight is another milestone in our collective journey to move Kentucky into a better future and a brighter future. 4 years ago, the people of Kentucky were hungry. What were they hungry for? They were hungry for leadership.
Right.
They were hungry for leadership. They were looking for a leader that had a vision, a plan for the future to move Kentucky into a better place. They were looking for a leader that was compassionate, that cared about people more than themselves. They were looking for a leader who was courageous, who was willing to make the tough decisions even when it wasn't in their own personal best interest. In short, they were looking for a leader that put people over politics, that put caring about the folks you represent more than you care about your own political future. And folks, they found those leaders in Andy Beshear and Jacqueline Coleman. And they elected those leaders. And they've had that kind of leadership now for 3.5 years. Now, you don't have to take my word for the kind of leadership we've had. Look at the record. 3 months after these two came into office, a pandemic hit this state, this country, and this world unlike anything we've seen in 100 years. A lot of governors ran for the cover. They were trying to figure out, oh my goodness, what's the best thing I can do to keep me out of political hot water? Well, you know what Andy and Jacqueline did? They threw politics out the window. They threw it out the window and said to the people of Kentucky, look, I'm going to be asking you to do some tough things. Some things that you may not like. But our job is to keep you alive. Our job is to save as many lives as we can. And if you don't want to vote for me the next time, that's okay. But I'm going to do my job. Well, 60% approval rating later, I think they did their job pretty well. We all know about the tornadoes in the west and the flooding in the east. And within hours, these folks were on the ground, right there with our people, helping them, mourning with them, doing everything they could to pick our people up, to get them back on their feet, and to repair their lives and their families and their homes. And today, they're still there, each and every day, helping these folks to get back on their feet. And they promised, and they're carrying out the promise, that they'll be with those folks and with the rest of us until that job's done. But you know, when you stop and think about all of that, the pandemic, the tornadoes, the floods, that's enough to keep anybody busy for 4 years. But guess what? They also had a plan. They had a plan for how to make this state a better place to call home. Part of that plan was to create jobs, better paying jobs, more jobs for our folks so that our families could stay here and work and live and support each other. That our kids could stay here after they got out of school and would have good jobs and raise a family and be able to stay in this great state that we call home. Well, folks, 3.5 years later, they have created more jobs in 3.5 years than any governor has created in the history of the Commonwealth. Part of that plan was to make sure that our people were educated. And their commitment to public education is second to none. And they know that the future for our children is to be educated. Because if they're educated, they will be able to make a bright future for themselves and eventually for their families. And they also know that the most important cog in that public education wheel are our teachers. Yes. And they have fought. You know how hard they fought for better pay for teachers, for more tools for teachers, and for freedom to teach in the classrooms about the 21st century instead of just the 19th and 18th century. Woo! Part of their plan to make Kentucky better was to make sure that everybody had access to affordable, quality health care. So what did Andy do? He reinstated that state exchange. I think I know somebody that put that in the first time. But in addition to that, he expanded Medicaid even more to cover vision, hearing, and other areas. Because they know that for us to move ahead, you got to have a healthy workforce. You got to have a healthy population. You got to have a healthy group of people that can take the jobs and do the jobs that they're creating here for all of us. So, what a record. What a record. Now let's look for just a minute of what's going on elsewhere. The other side has put up their all-stars. I mean, every person that they consider a top-rung candidate for them is running for the opportunity to run against Andy and Jacqueline this fall. And they have spent millions of dollars. I mean, they may set a record for a Republican primary in the amount of money that's being spent by all of these all-stars to be the one to run against Andy. And what kind of impression have they left? Well, I'll tell you, the best indication is they may well set a record for the lowest turnout in any Republican gubernatorial primary in the history of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And folks, why is that? It's because there is no leadership on that side of the aisle. They demonstrated no ideas about how to move this state forward. They're all wrapped up in these extreme partisan culture wars that benefit nobody and hurt everybody. Now, this battle starts tonight. This battle starts tonight and will go every day between now and November 7th. And this battle is for the future of Kentucky. This battle will decide whether our state will go backward and join that group of states who are trying to hide under the covers and deny what the future holds and long for Father Knows Best back in the 1950s, and leave us in a mediocre and an inferior place in this country and this world, and leave our kids there too. Or we can continue down the path that we're on, a path to a brighter future, a path that will create the kind of Kentucky that we all want, not only for ourselves, but for our family, for our grandkids, for the future of our country. Friends, we are in a fight. We are in a fight from now until Election Day. And I'm ready to fight. Are you ready to fight?
Hell yes!
Are you ready to fight?
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Are you ready to win?
Woo! 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 Woo!
then on November 7th, Andy Beshear and Jacqueline Coleman are not going to be just the governor and lieutenant governor. They're going to be the next governor and lieutenant governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Let's take it back.